this man here should have foreseen this incident. So spoiler season has started and the Iron Bloom starter deck has been fully revealed. Now this starter deck is going to be coming out a little bit sooner than the other starter deck, so the other one is not going to be shown for a while now. So the starter deck event is going to be pretty much just purple on purple. But before we begin, guys, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button to help me out. And also, if you're going to be in Dallas for the Card Fest, if you guys see me there, go ahead and say what's up. All right, to start things off, we're going to start with the level 1s and move up to the higher levels and then go into the non-unit cards here. So for our first unit, we have this CGS Mobile Worker. Now, just so you guys know, I've never watched Iron-Blooded Orphans. I know, don't leave, don't unsubscribe just yet. I'm sorry, guys. Don't smash the dislike button just yet, guys. But I'll go ahead and check it out soon. All right, so for the Mobile Worker, he is a 0-2 for a cost of 1 on level 1. Now, I think there's only another card out there in the ZAF that is a 0-2 that essentially just has like a kind of a support effect. So I'm guessing this one's going to have a similar kind of support for purple. Let's see what it says. So activate main, rest this unit, choose one of your units, deal 1 damage to it. It gets +1 AP doing it. Yeah, so pretty much just like support 1. But it also has the clause of dealing that damage, which I'm pretty sure purple wants to be able to have damage on their units. Outside looking in, without really have looked at any of these cards, I'm assuming like the best way to fight against purple is just really just kind of one-shot their units, because if you leave them with any kind of damage on them, they're essentially going to be a lot stronger and cause you more problems. So a lot of opponents may be hesitant to put damage on it, so cards like this will go ahead and allow you to put it on it yourself. Will this card be used? I don't know. It just really depends on how prominent that is, or if there's another card that's a little bit, just stronger than it that might do that same effect a little bit better. All right, and here we have a Graze custom. So I think the Grazes are like the normal suits, the grunt suits that get like destroyed by everything. But I think this one is holding that massive mace that the Barbados uses. So again, I don't know anything about the series, but it looks pretty cool. So it's just your generic 2-2 for 1. This is pretty much going to be played a lot because the world has started to respect the level 2 1 cost guys. I think this is going to be really played actually. Speaking of level 2 1 cost, there's another one in Graze, the regular Graze. So this starter that gives you both of them. So a lot of people are talking about like white aggro is going to be a thing. White aggro technically is a thing right now. It's just the fact that it doesn't really have good replacement or good draws. It just really trades really well, I guess you could say, which kind of keeps it alive, but usually requires certain things that happen. There's no way to really get past defenders and things like that. So that's why it's probably not really played a lot. But overall, white's going to get a lot more pieces for the aggressive deck, and this is going to be another one of them. All right, and for our first level 3 cost, we have another Rizal. Holy crap. So the Haya Kuren. So hey, you could probably make a purple blue deck and just throw in just these both of them, so you have a strong mid-range deck here. Blue purple is probably gonna look very strong. Man, to think that we got another Rizal out here this quickly. So why is this card good, you're asking? Well, its stats are more worth than its cost. So in level 3, only for a cost 2, you're getting a 4-3 beater, and the only detriment is the fact that it doesn't have an effect and it doesn't have a link, so it gains its power and its stats there. So this card is just extremely strong. Oh my goodness, this starter deck is stacked. I feel like this is probably like already power creep. Are we already in power creep territory, guys, where like this starter deck is already stronger than all the other ones? So we have the Graze Commander type, which is essentially a Zord that can actually attack, and it has a link. So it's like now it's just better. Now if it didn't have that link, then I guess it would be almost equal to something like the Lafrif. Now my question is, will this card ultimately just blanket cover the Zord? I personally think that it may in most decks, but if you're really struggling on the front end for defense, Zord is still plays that place because it is a level 2 instead of a level 3. Quite honestly, when you're going to be going second, grabbing the coin, going to level 3 a lot faster, being able to drop this and also being able to attack things and also win the game with this guy, that's pretty much been the detriment between a lot of players using Zord, because they see opportunities to win and they just can't with that. And plus this has a link too. Oh my goodness, like, so I think quite honestly, I like this card a lot better. Starting off the level 4s, we have the Gundam Barbados second form. This artwork looks incredible. While this unit is damaged, it gets +2 AP. It essentially becomes a 4-3, which is generic stats for 4-2. Quite honestly, it's weird looking at it like for a second here. It seems like a weaker version of like a Gelgoog, but at the the same time, it has 4 to begin with, so there's a lot more cards that can deal with 3s than it can with a 4 to start with. But quite honestly, I like the tricks with it. Like, if you're able to deal damage to this thing on action step, which there might not even be ability for that just yet, I'm just kind of thinking out right now. If you're able to do that during the action step, then surprise, this thing has way more damage than you thought it was going to be. And of course, if you use a little mobile worker to just hit this guy, and you're essentially giving it +3. Quite honestly, this card is just gonna be a good card. This is gonna be a good card, and it's gonna probably be a staple in early purple decks. The Gundam Rebake. This guy says for 4/3, so when it's destroyed, choose one enemy unit with 4 or less AP and rest it. I'm not too mad at this card. Like, this is one of those cards where, like, if you're trying to be aggressive or even mid-range, having some kind of semblance of control is really good too. So if you swing with this guy, they're gonna have to think, like, if they kill this, you know, your opponent's probably going to be able to choose a guy that they really actually want to kill and destroy it as well. So this is kind of like be the front runner or the vanguard to, like, start moving blockers out the way. This kind of reminds me of, like, Cagli's Sky Grasper, where you essentially attack with it or even block with it, and it's destroyed, and then you bounce a creature. This is kind of like doing the same thing, but just resting it. And that's pretty good. And it also has a link. If I just give it a rating, I think it's like a 3 out of 5. McGill, Schwabi's, Grays here. So it has blocker. So that's automatically very useful. And it says, when paired, choose one enemy unit that is level 3 or lower. He gets -2 during his turn. So this is pretty much a blocker version of the Aerial Gundam. And before I say it's a power creep, Aerial can choose up to level 5 or lower, and it gets -3. So, like, it can choose more targets, and it's a lot stronger. But it doesn't have blocker. But Aerial also has more in the actual stats. So this coming down, it can actually be shot really easily by, like, something like close combat. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. And if you play it alongside with purple, which is going to be doing, you're not really ever going to be choosing this for damage as a super strong blocker here. Not really. This is kind of like trying to attack, but it can block at the same time. That's kind of how I would use this card, guys. Honestly, it's just kind of like, it just has blocker, but I see my whole premise is to actually be aggressive with this, because it kind of reminds me of a Gundam Ferract, because it can, like, lower someone's AP, but quite honestly, I would kind of just use Gundam Ferract, but he can't block, so there's that. I know they make every Gundam Barbatos cracked in everything that they ever make Barbatos in, or Barbatos, so let's go ahead and check this out. So 4th form, deploy, choose one of your other units, and deal 1 damage to it. So you have to have a unit in play, you deal damage to it, it gets +1 AP during this turn. So I guess it doesn't have to hit anyone, choose one of your other units, so that kind of sucks if you do have to eventually kill one of your guys. I want to see if that happens. If your opponent puts your guy to 1 and you play Barbatos and, like, you just have to kill your dude, it just is what it is. It also says, while this card is damaged, it gains suppression. All right, so I heard a lot of people talk about suppression being like a broken mechanic, or actually literally broken in the fact that, like, the wording may make it do a little bit something differently than what it's probably intended to do. So it says damage to shields by an attack is dealt to the first 2 cards simultaneously. I guess the question would be, like, if any attack, like, say if you attack with a 2/2 Graze, that's an attack, is that also suppression at that point? Do you just win the game because you have 3 guys? Or is it really just this guy has suppression and it only applies to this card? That would only make sense. Like, this thing can now have the suppression ability and it can only attack 2 simultaneously. Not simultaneously, I'm guessing, like, if you're the active player, do you decide on the triggers on how they resolve? Like, what if there are 2 bases? If you hit 2 bases, do you then draw 2 more cards? Is that like you just got hit for 4? Like, that would be quite awful. It does at least something when it lands on turn 6, so it's not, like, completely useless. The fact that on level 6 it only costs level 4, so there's plenty of resource left to be able to, like, play a pilot and even play another card that can support this card. Maybe throw a worker down at the same turn you play the Barbatos, so you can even make him even stronger. First off, how come all the guys have their shirts off? Is that what's going on in this series? But hey, it's super manly, not gonna lie. So it says during Link, during your turn, when this unit destroys an enemy unit with battle damage, choose one Tekkadan unit card that is level 2 or lower from your trash and add it to your hand. Wow, this is pretty cool. This kind of reminds me of a Zex Marquise as well as a Yule, where you're going to be essentially getting +1 card off of being able to kill something through battle damage, so through attacking it. For this one, you have to have, like, your graveyard set up, and it has to be very specific. Swing, they block, you're pretty much going to get a card back. And so I think this card is going to be really, really good. You're probably going to be dropping, like, a lot of level, maybe some level 1s, but definitely a lot of level 2s to be able to swing early, get them in the graveyard, and then probably play him by turn 3 or 4. So the current targets for this card right now is just the Gray's Custom and the Mobile Worker. So that's not too many targets as of right now, but obviously as set 2 comes out, this is going to be a lot stronger. I would only hope that there's going to be more targets for this. All right, moving on to the main boy. All right, look how D'd up this guy is. So it's when paired, choose one of your units and one enemy unit, deal damage to both of them. Now we all know how strong someone like Marita Cruz is, being able to have that additional damage there on just like a normal Kasatria, being able to swing deal damage there is going to be good. And also it's going to be even stronger because if you pair this of course to the Barbados, instantly having suppression, or on the other Barbados, being able to go to like a 6-3 is going to be quite crazy. And one of the cool things is choose one of your units. So you don't even need to do it to the unit that he attaches to. You can choose something else to kind of set it up. Now, the hard part is if you're playing against purple, well, you're going to have to choose that enemy unit to deal 1 damage to it. So you're probably going to choose the one that doesn't really get any effects from that damage. That's just going to be only like the purple versus purple match. I think I really got to worry about it. All right, we have this guy cosplaying as Trey's Kush Renata. So it says, when paired, if you have 2 or more other Gallowhorn or Tekadon units in play, okay, so he looks at both of them, choose one enemy unit with 3 or less HP and rest it. Oh, wow, I like this card. Oh, wow, I like this card a lot. Obviously, you immediately think like mini Amuro Ray. And of course, he says 2 or more. So obviously, you have to be like having units on the board. So you think mid-range aggressive builds. I'm closer to aggressive. So if I were to play like a, you know, a Gallowhorn unit, and then of course play this guy, I can go ahead and select someone that's 3 or less. Now the 3 or less is not like a lot of major targets, but it's going to be a good amount of the new blockers that are going to be out. Obviously, you're going to be able to almost all of the blockers except for Lefray, but the early blockers as such are going to be rested by this guy. And of course, providing a 2-1 is going to be very, very strong. Now, the only part that really makes me sad about it is it does have to have those very specific type of units in play. I think this card is pretty good. And it's just a common card from a starter deck, so being able to get, I think it comes with actually 3 in a starter deck, it's really good. This man here should have foreseen this incident. Yeah, this one embodies what this card actually does. It makes players feel like, oh my goodness, why did I make that swing? Why? Oh my god, I just should have thought he had one open. Why did I? This card is so freaking good, and the fact that they already re-released it in another starter deck. So this card has maybe like I think 4 total arts at this point. If you, I guess 5 if you count the odd art of this one. There's gonna be that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to pick up 4 of these. These are gonna be the main ones I'm playing. Yeah. So long story short, if you don't know what this card does, guys, so pay 1. During action step or main step, choose one enemy unit. Has to be an enemy. It gets -3 AP during its turn. So it's just a really good combat trick. If you're on the fence about using this card, give it a shot. Throw 2 in your deck if you can run the color white and see how it works out for you. All right, with Iron and Blood, we have a command card that's level 2, cost 1. So it simply says, during your main and action step, choose one of your units, deal 1 damage to it. It gets AP +3 during this turn. Holy crap. The thing about Tiger is that card is really strong, but you can only choose a Zaf unit. This one you can choose technically anyone, but you have to deal 1 damage to it. I feel like in a lot of cases, maybe you're almost going to have that guy, that unit just die, but also being able to like, you know what, I'm also going to take you out as well. So let's go ahead and do it. Being able to swing in for like a 2-2, then with Iron and Blood, being able to just pay 1 to knock out their 5 health base is going to be pretty good. I think this card is going to see some play here. Now, if I were to play this, I still feel like I would probably, if I'm running white, I'm definitely going to run Incident over this. But if I'm running purple along with something else, maybe like purple blue, making my Rezels a 7 attack is going to be nuts. And for our last command, we have Fatal Strike. This is going to be one of the main reasons why people play purple on main phase only. So no action step, so that sucks. But it does have a burst, but we'll go over that in a second here. So main step, choose one enemy unit that is level 3 or lower and destroy it. I'm killing all types of Lifrifs, or however you say that name, all day long. We're just shooting those cards. We're just gonna get out of my way. I hate that card. Choose level 3 and destroy it. You're gone. It sucks that I do have to wait till level 4, but usually when they're playing blockers, they force me to that turn anyway. It does have a burst, but the burst is just okay. I think the burst would be a lot better if it said choose any unit, but it says choose one enemy unit, deal 1 damage to it. Because if it says choose any unit, yeah, quite honestly, guys, this card would be actually cracked. Because you can not use it on your guys, you can use it on your partner's guys. This is going to be a very useful card, at least in my eyes, when it comes to killing the cards, the units that I want dead. You know, so this is going to be like the key that I go to when considering something like that. All right, guys, we're here to the last card. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. Appreciate that. So we have the Isarabi. Not really sure how to say this. Activate main phase, rest this phase. Choose one of your damaged units. It gets +2 AP this turn. So this is a Vesalius that has a condition. Long story short, I would just still choose the Vesalius, but if I'm not in the color red, well, this is your second best option. Having a damage unit is probably going to happen a lot in purple. That just is what it is. In my opinion, I'll probably play this as something like Zaft almost, because you're trying to get as much AP plus as possible. The Vesalius sometimes just doesn't really get there, only giving it +1 to some units. It doesn't really get there all the time. I don't know. You guys gotta start cooking. Let's go ahead and get to the lab and start making these decks up. All right, guys, and that's the end of the video here. Oh man, this starter deck looks strong out the gate. I think this might automatically just be stronger than all of the other starter decks. Guys, in the comments down below, out of all the cards in the starter deck, what is the one card that you guys are most interested the most? Like, what's the main card that you want to build around, that you play this card, the card that has the most muscles that you like the most? If you can't choose one, go ahead and choose multiple. But for me, I think Fatal Strike is going to be the very, very top card that I really, really want this deck for, because I hate those lift rifts, but obviously it forced me to go into purple, and I'm not really sure how good purple is going to be in aggro, but that base there is going to be super awesome for my Zaft builds. I think that's going to be like a key for certain plays. I'm really super excited, and I'm actually just sad that the STO6 are not coming at the same time, but my wallet at least can only need to worry about these two, and I know this one is already having distribution problems, and I hope they get that fixed, and I actually hope you guys are going to be able to grab one of these your own self. If you want to check out more Gundam content, go and check out these videos right here. And for other mecha content, check out these videos right here. I know life can be hard out there, guys, but keep your head up, keep moving forward, and most importantly, let nothing stop you. Peace out, guys.